Hello, everybody. Greetings to all. Welcome to the Snooker Hall podcast. I'm Dan Murren. The 2026 Welsh Open is in the books. Huge congratulations to the Hawk, Barry Hawkins. A well-earned victory in Llandudno, lifting the Ray Reardon Trophy for the first time. To look back at that event, and maybe a little bit further back as well, I'm joined by a very special friend of the Snooker Hall podcast. He's an award-winning journalist. He is the man behind Snooker Chat. Big snooker fan. I'm happy to welcome Nigel Slater back to the Snooker Hall podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
That's a pleasure. Always nice to talk to you about snooker. And other things, actually. Not just snooker, other things as well. Yeah. How much of the Welsh Open did you see?
Yeah, quite a bit. Great tournament. Always is the Welsh Open. It's one of snooker's really good tournaments, actually. I've been around for quite a few years. Lots of really good winners, and it delivered towards the end, didn't it? Really, some really good incidents over the week, and fantastic tournament.
I think when you look at the list of winners, there are some big names on there, but there's also a couple of surprises. Obviously, Jordan Brown, probably the most notable or the most surprising winner. But even someone like Joe Perry, he'd had a good career, don't get me wrong, but lifting that trophy was one of his highlights. Okay, he made the World Championship semi-final. He made a Masters final as well, I believe. But lifting that trophy, beating Judd Trump in a final, you beat Judd Trump in a final, you got to be playing well. Rob Milkins won it as well, did he not?
Yeah, he won it a few years ago, didn't he? Yeah, he can. That's a good thing in their home nations events. They can have a mix between the top players winning it and going for it. We've seen no Sullivan Selby finals, haven't we? Northern Ireland and Trump, Kyron Wilson. But then you also get the events where some of the mid-ranked players come into their own and get their opportunity as well. So the Home Nations has been a great series, and I'm glad it's continuing.
Yeah, likewise. And I know some of the events get a little bit of stick. The English Open particularly gets stick. But I'd say that's based purely, and not even mostly, it is purely based on the venue. And Brentwood's, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but I've been there a couple of times. Okay, it's a little bit stuffy. And it's a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Like even during, I think it might have been the semi-final one year, Neil Robertson, I think he was against Chris Wakelin. And during his break, he turned to the crowd and was like, God, it's a bit stuffy in here, isn't it? So, all right, it's not the ideal place, but it's not that bad. But I'm a fan of the Home Nation series. I think to have that little group of tournaments, I don't even think of it as just the Home Nations. It's just a throwback to the olden days of snooker, I would say.
Definitely, yeah. I fully agree with that. I think the great thing is that they're mixed throughout the season, aren't they? It's not just all in one group, which I think they were trying to say for China. But these are spread around, so you've got the English Open in September, October. You've got the Northern Ireland Open that goes into December. You've got the Welsh Open, obviously, coming to February towards the latter end of the season. And then you've got the Scottish Open just before Christmas, which I don't think is great for the Scottish Open. I think at that time, after the UK Championship, players are a bit tired and they want to go for the break. But it still brings out a good tournament. I think Chris Aiken won it, so the best do win that. Maybe try and get the Scottish Open a bit later in the season, maybe, and give it a bit more prestige.
I have one reason why I would disagree with that. One reason, and it's only one reason. At the moment, if you look at them in chronological order, it's English Open, Northern Ireland Open, Scottish Open, Welsh Open. It's in alphabetical order too. And I like that. I don't know why, I just like it. I don't know if that's a little quirk in my brain, but I like that. And if we moved the Scottish after the Welsh, it would ruin it for me. And I also like the fact that it's ENSW, like the northeast, southwest. I don't know. I these little weird things that just come to my mind. But yeah, in terms of the order of them, I like the fact that they're in alphabetical order as well.
There you go. I can't say I disagree with you about that, but yeah, I can't say I've ever thought about it like that before in terms of alphabetical order. It's never really come into my mind that tournament should be in the order of alphabetical. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if there's ever an Aberdeen Masters, then we know that would open the season, yeah. But on a serious note, Barry Hawkins won. Very happy for Barry. I think most people are, apart from... You know what, even Jack's probably not that angry about... If he's going to lose, he might as well lose to Barry Hawkins. Everyone loves Barry Hawkins. 5 ranking titles. Oh, he's had so many near misses as well. He could be even further up that list. I was speaking with a couple of people. It was during his match against Neil Robertson. And he wasn't playing well in that match up until the final frame. I think his highest break was 38. So he was grinding his way through that match. And if you look at his form throughout the season, honestly, it's not been stellar. It's not been poor, but it's been absolutely forgettable. It's been middle of the road, especially for someone who's as good as Barry. And the question I asked to a couple of people was, those defeats, so he lost the UK final in 24 to Judd Trump, close match, and then about 2 months later he loses the German Masters final to Kyron Wilson, even closer, 10-9. And I would say he played well. I watched all of the UK on telly. I was in Berlin for that final. That was a late one. There was a re-rack in one of those frames as well, so we actually got 19 and a half frames. But Kyron played well in that match. Kyron not only played well, but he played smart, and he showed some cojones during that final to hold off Barry's challenge. And Judd was just ruthless in that. So, and I would say on most other days, Barry would have picked up at least one of those trophies. And the question I asked was, would those 2 defeats have knocked his confidence? And I can see why it could do that. But an argument against my theory is that he then went on to the semi-finals of the Tour Championship. Along the way, he battered Shaun Murphy. I think it was 10-1. And then he got a comprehensive 10-5 win over Judd Trump. So clearly, he was still able to produce the goods against top players. But what are your thoughts? Because he's obviously a wonderful player. And he's experienced. He's not a rookie anymore. He's been around 20-odd years. He has all the ingredients. Why do you think it's only 5 ranking titles?
Well, let's first of all praise Barry Hawkins for winning. Great win, deserved.
Absolutely deserved, yeah.
Better player in the final. Fully deserved, like you say. He's been close a couple of times last year on big events. UK Championship and German Masters. He got closed, very close, just fell short. So this had been coming, and I think every snooker fan will be delighted that he's got the trophy. 5 ranking events doesn't do him justice. I think, in terms of what we were going to say on Snooker Chat after, is we're going to call him a solid player, and I think that's the best way of describing Barry Hawkins. He's solid. He's always around. He's always been around the top 20 for a long time. I don't think he's ever been outside that, really. He usually gets to the Crucible, and he's just a solid player. I think he always has that ability in the middle of the season. I think that's where he really tends to peak, in the middle of the season. That December, February. He's always thereabouts to win events, and then he's his Crucible record's not great. He got to the World Final 10 years ago, was it? Just over 10 years ago?
2013.
Lost to O'Sullivan. Was it O'Sullivan when O'Sullivan came back after a year out or something like that? Maybe I'm wrong.
He would have beaten most other players. He played really well, but Ronnie was just
he's a solid pro. He's great bloke. What I like about Hawkins is there's a great clip. I'm sure people have seen it in the. It's like an old Championship League game with him and Mark Selby, and I think the referee tries to put the rest on the table and it drops down. Part of the rest drops down, and him and Selby are absolutely laughing. It's one of the great videos. I think it goes on for about 5 minutes. They can't stop laughing. And because they can't stop laughing, the referee starts laughing as well. It's a wonderful clip. I don't know if anyone's seen it. But yeah, that's what I think about Barry Hawkins. He's just generally a good guy, and top snooker player. 5 ranking events doesn't do him justice. I think he'll know that. I think he'll be the first one to say that. He could have easily had 6 or 7, but 5's better than none.
That is true. That is true. And at the start of the season, a player who did have none was his opponent. What a segue that is. Jack Lisowski. I'm really pleased with that segue. It was a good week for Jack. Okay, he lost the final. He would have wanted to win. Obviously, he would have wanted to win. But since the Northern Ireland Open, probably the highlight of his career, we're going to say, he's been quiet-ish. He's not been bad. He's just been, yeah, he did okay. But this was a bit more progress for him. But he did win a trophy this week, and he won a lot of money as well.
He did, yeah. Not a bad week, is it? It's not a bad week when you got 150 grand in the bank. That's quite a good week in many people's minds. But yeah, I think it's been a great week for Jack Lisowski. Taking that aside, what I wanted to see him after that Northern Ireland Open win, because I didn't want that to be a one-off. I wanted him to go on and do it again. Okay, he didn't win the Welsh Open, but he again proved himself that he could go all the way, and he was very close to winning. I think if he didn't have that bad first session in the final and it was a bit closer, I think he could have won it, because Hawkins did say after the match he was feeling it towards the end. So if the match was a bit closer, we all know what Lisowski can do when he's on form. He can rile off frames very, very quickly. But yeah, I've been impressed with Lisowski. I think his coach Chris Henry deserves a lot of credit. He's probably kind of the coach that Lisowski's always needed, really. Someone who will stick by him but also get him determined to play well. I've been really impressed with Lisowski this week. I was really impressed with it. I know he was trailed 7-1 and Barry Hawkins dominated him, but to come out in the second session and win the first 3 frames, I thought that showed a bit of bottle, a bit like,
guts.
A bit like, you're going to beat me, Barry, but you're not going to beat me easily. I'm going to come and give you something to think about. And I think he knocks off 2 centuries in the first 2 frames. And then there was this weird third frame of the session where we could have had a re-rack after, I think, 35 minutes. And there was some strange situation where Lisowski was kind of flicking flicking his cue on the cube towards flicking the white onto the red ball, I should say. And it was quite a strange play because it looked like there was no way forward. And then Barry Hawkins then played the shot to try and get out of the situation. And Lisowski pots a terrific red along with the smallest gap. And it was one of the shots of the match. It really was.
Fantastic.
But I think Neil Fold said it on commentary, and I was listening to him. He said there's a lot more steel to Lisowski now. He's not, maybe a few years ago, he would have lost patience in that frame, and maybe that would have put Hawkins in. But now he's just playing the right shots. I mean, he kind of had to in that match because of the deficit he had, but he stuck at it, and that was pleasing for me as to see Lisowski. He didn't lose patience, and he kind of said to Hawkins, "If you're going to beat me, then you've got to work hard for it." And he had a bad first session. That's what cost him. But overall, a great tournament for him, and he's there or thereabouts in top 16 now, isn't he? He's edging closer to back where he belongs. People might say.
Yeah, I think he's probably not far off direct qualification for the Crucible, actually, which would be obviously take away any risk of not making it. But
obviously on the Saturday night to beat John Higgins, with what was a wonderful break at the end. We put on Snooker Chat, it was Alex Higgins-esque. That's not what we said, but that's what was said. I think by Abigail Davis when she questioned Lisowski on it. People were like, "Nah, it wasn't Alex Higgins-esque," but there was some great pots there to win a match. brilliant. You know, the match on the line. If he misses one of them pots, Higgins is in. So, brilliant match. We said on Snooker Chat on the Saturday night it's going to be box office this. For reasons we'll probably go into a bit later in terms of the home nations bonus and what Lisowski was playing for there. But it was a great match of snooker, which we thought it would be. You know, I was watching it very keenly, and I flipped over to watch the Brit Awards a little bit, you know, and because I thought Lisowski was going to lose this at 3-1 down. He was all over the place in the first bit, so get a bit of the Brit Awards on, watch a bit of Harry Styles. But then thought come back and Lisowski's right back in it and he's playing brilliant snooker. So what a match that was. That's probably one of the matches of the tournament.
Yeah, it epitomises the evolution in Jack's game, I would say, because I've been vocally critical of Jack, not because of his personality, but maybe a little bit in terms of his personality actually, because I found that he has been not bullied on the table, but he needs to stand up for himself a little bit more. Two notable examples are against Mark Allen and Gary Wilson. Gary accused him of fouling. He was like, well, if you need the 4 points, just take it. If it means it's not a problem, then... So, whoa. Deciding frame, giving away 4 points when you're on the colours? No. Mark Allen on a free ball incident a few years ago. And Jack backed down. And in that safety exchange with Barry, he could have been, I'll take the risk, actually, and then we'll just break this impasse. But he didn't. He stuck at it. He was like, no, I'll stand up for myself. It's not my job to break the impasse and put my frame at risk. Eventually, Barry took the risk, made a complete balls up of the shot, I'm going to say. Double kiss when he hit the top cushion. But it worked for Jack. That patience worked. And again, the semi-final, as you mentioned, it's not just the place in the final he's playing for. He's playing for £150,000 Bet Victor bonus. There's a lot on the line. And he stood up for himself. And it would have been so easy for some of those shots, the trickier shots during that break, to just, maybe I'll just play it safe. I've got a little bit of a lead. You can't do that against John Higgins. He's given up a lot of experience, a lot of table nous. But he was smart enough in that moment. Can I compete with John Higgins in a safety battle if we start? It's a risk. No, just go for it. And he went for it, and he got it. And I'm pleased for him, because that, I hope it gives him so much confidence to know that under pressure, he delivered. And
well, that's it now. Now he's got that monkey off his back that he's won a ranking event. That was huge for him, because people will just keep saying it, won't they? Oh, he's not won a ranking event. And he will get to a semi-final and, is this the moment? Is this the moment? He doesn't have to respond to that anymore. He's won the ranking event. He's followed it up, getting to a final, winning the 150k bonus. It's been a very good season for Lisowski. I think he's got the perfect coach in Chris Henry to keep him motivated, keep him going. I'm sure Lisowski's going to win another one.
I think he will at some point. I don't think he'll get to... I can't see him making it to double figures. Maybe if he got to somewhere 5, 6, I can see that. Because he's still got many years ahead of him. He's clearly good, and I think with experience, I think it will help him. And if he is coached the right way, which it seems is happening now, he's got a good chance.
I think you can have all the coaching in the world, but if he's got to want it. I think that's maybe a bit of criticism of him in the past. Does he really want it? Does he really want to be a winner? Does he just want to be a fair player? If Lisowski wants it and he's going to work hard for it, and I think that's what we've been hearing from him in interviews. He wants it. He wants to do well. I think we posted that Lisowski was desperate to win the Welsh Open, so he's talking a lot more serious about his game. I heard him on TNT Sports, and he's talking very technically about his game and his cue and stuff like that. So I think we're seeing a very different mindset now from Jack Lisowski, and I think it's been what's needed for quite a while.
A bit of maturity, he's not a kid anymore. I know he's got this, not even just the way he's got this boyish attitude around the table almost, but he's a grown man. He's it would appear that he's a lot more mature than he used to be, and I know he's had some personal struggles over the last year.
Oh, definitely.
And
definitely.
Only he will know
Yeah,
how it's impacted him, either positively or negatively. But if it's working for him, then he said he's happy. And you know what? That's what we all want in life, right? And if he can say that, then he answers only to himself. So
make a great point there about the personal setbacks he's had. I mean, you know, to come back the way he has from that and so quickly, full credit to him.
So the Welsh Open was good. Before we move on from it, John Higgins. So I'm going to say, while we record here, I'm just going to open up Google and I'm going to look up John Higgins because he made the final of the Masters, he made the final of the Players' Championship, and he also made the semi-finals of the Welsh. What else has he done recently? Let's have a look. What am I missing? The International Championship. Of course, he lost to Buyiza, didn't he? Yeah. Like, John Higgins is having a good season. And that sounds like such a weird thing to say, but he is.
Been very impressed with him. He seems to be, what's the word? He's obviously enjoying his snooker. He's playing with a bit of no fear, but he's playing really well. I've always felt with Higgins over the years, he's got a bad shot in him. He's got a careless miss in him, and I think that has cost him quite a lot of times. Last few weeks, I've not seen that. If he's been beaten by someone else. He's not gave his game away or given the match away. I've not seen many careless mistakes from Higgins, but yeah. I mean, what can you say about him? He's a snooker legend, isn't he? Or what he's won. I'm losing count how many semi-finals and quarter-finals he's made. It's just wonderful. 50 years age, still to be doing what he's doing. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think if it wasn't Zhao Xintong in the Players' Championship, he might have won that one.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance because
but he took him all the way, didn't he? 7-0.
Yep.
And then Zhao. What can you say about Zhao? But yeah, it took brilliance from him, and it took a bit of brilliance from Lisowski to stop him being in the Welsh Open final. He's not giving the matches away, and you could argue that in last year's World Championship, it was a very tough blue he missed. If he pots it, he's in the semi-finals of the World Championship.
It's true. Yeah, one ball away, isn't he? And then everything changes.
That blue goes in, and it might have been a completely different story.
Yeah, and then it's John versus Jod. John versus Jod. Jod versus John in the semi-final. Yeah. And that would have been a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, but on these fine margins, yeah. Because he hasn't won a tournament so far this season. But if he goes and wins the World Open, I don't know if he's qualified. Is that one of the qualifiers he lost? Anyway, we'll assume that he's in it. But if he goes and wins the Tour Championship, for example, could he make a case for being Player of the Season?
I wouldn't agree with that one. I think there are players who are ahead of him in that stake. Zhao Xintong, Mark Selby have won probably 3 times more if Higgins did win one of them events. I won't say Player of the Season, but he has had a good season. You can't take that away from him. And if he plays the way he is a contender to win the World Championship.
So this Player of the Season, I know it's kind of an arbitrary award, but I think it is good to have that kind of recognition when you've played well. So last season it was Judd Trump. Many people thought it should have been Kyron Wilson, who won 4 ranking events and made the final of the Masters. That's up for debate. Fine, they both had great seasons. Fine. Kyron has won 2 big events this season. They're just not ranking events. I think he's kind of flying under the radar. Okay, he's had a couple of early exits here and there, but during the big events, he's done okay. Okay, the UK Championship wasn't great for him, but to win the Shanghai Masters and the Masters, that's not too shabby. And I know he's not in the Tour Championship, but I would consider him one of the favourites at the Crucible. And this is gonna sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do fancy him more than I would fancy Mark Selby to win the World Championship this season. And I'll tell you why. Because I think there is a little bit of a misconception around Mark Selby. And I think, you know what? a myth conception. Yeah, we're going to combine two words. I think there's a bit of false narrative around Mark Selby. The idea is that he's one of the form players. Okay, he won that non-ranking Championship League event. Honestly, I actually didn't even know it was on. It was like, oh, Mark Selby won it. Didn't even know. But in the last 4 ranking events, how many matches has Mark Selby won?
He's won 3 events this season, hasn't he, Selby? He won Champion of Champions, the UK Championship. What else did he win? He won something else, didn't he?
He won the UK Championship, Champion of Champions, and the non-ranking Championship League.
Okay.
Yeah. But since he won the UK Championship, he went out of the Masters in the first round. And since then, he's only won 2 matches in ranking events. He made the quarterfinals of the Players' Championship, but that's 1 match. And he won a match at, what was the one before that? The Grand Prix, I think it was. But he went out in the first round of the German Masters, and he went out in the first round of the Welsh Open. This is not a player in form. Like, he's losing matches quite early. But the idea is that Mark Selby is going to be one of the big favourites. And, okay, given his style of play, given his experience, given his immense break building ability, which is undervalued, I can see why he can never be dismissed. But to say he's one of the favourites, I don't think is accurate. He's had a peak, and I think he's kind of in a trough right now. And maybe he'll come out the other side at just the right time. But he's not the form player in the game right now. And the results, I think, show this.
Yeah. Well, he's won the World Championship 4 times.
Is that all?
He's been in the World Fight. He's been runner-up at least 2 times, and he lost to Purcell. Didn't he lose to Higgins when he was...
he was a youngster at the time, yeah. John described him as not that good.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. He's been 6 World Finals. I don't think we can question whether Mark Selby is good enough to win or not.
No,
his record
he
speaks
is.
for itself. You talk about favourite for the World Championship. It's very hard to, in my view, very hard to determine who is going to win the World Championship because it's so unpredictable. I did a bit of a video feature with Totally Snookered, the day before the World Championship, and we were talking about the draw. And Michael Day, who I believe has been a guest on your podcast, very
lovely bloke, knows a snooker.
Yeah.
Yep.
He said this was before the tournament. He said, "I think Kyron Wilson's going to win the World Championship because he had won 4 events, didn't he? He had played brilliant after winning the World Championship." He said, "I've got a real feeling for Kyron Wilson. He's going to do really well because it did look at that time he was playing really good snooker." What happens? He loses in the first round. He's knocked out on day 1. So they play fan. It's such a hard tournament to predict because you've got to be on it from day 1. It's difficult to predict. So Mark Selby could well win it. Who's to say he can't? It's such a huge, big tournament. It's one of them where, in football you've got a local derby and form goes out the window. And I think form goes out the window before the World Championship because you could win as many tournaments, but the World Championship's so different. It has different pressures, different venue. It's the World Championship, so the media comes into it a lot more. We could all say, we could have 16 different people saying 16 different winners. You know what I mean? It's such a difficult tournament to predict. But yeah, he is not out. He is out of form, I should say, Selby, but that doesn't mean anything.
And it goes both ways, doesn't it? It's Kyron was in mega form, and he lost 10-9 in the first round. It happens. Luca Brissell, maybe he also lost 10-9 the year before, but he wasn't in great form. But we saw even years ago, Stephen Hendry, one of the years, he went out in the first round when he was kind of dominating. I forget, maybe it was 98, maybe. I think maybe he might have lost to Jimmy White in the first round.
Yeah.
That was a shock. Jimmy, I think we'd all kind of accepted that Jimmy was never going to win it. Stephen will win this match 10-6. He won't embarrass him. But
if you look at the World Championship, the last few winners, so last year it was Jarrison Tong. No one would have had him to win it. The year before, Kyron Wilson. I don't think at that time anyone would have thought Kyron Wilson would have won the World Championship.
He wouldn't have been one of the clear favourites, no.
Luca Brissell, 23.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we would have had him. Who was it, 22?
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, that's probably it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair,
people would
yeah.
expect Ronnie O'Sullivan to do it. Who was it before O'Sullivan? I'm
It
testing you
was
there.
Mark Selby in 21
Selby.
and
Yeah,
O'Sullivan again in 20. So, all
yeah.
right, so O'Sullivan,
So I
Selby,
think
O'Sullivan.
the last three
That's
winners
fine.
have been very unpredictable. You could get one of the favourites to win it, or you could get a surprise. It's such a difficult tournament to win. There's so much pressure on it. But yeah, I think for this tournament, form goes out the window.
There's something I was supposed to mention earlier, and we've seen it. Well, I don't think we could miss it, really. Zhao Zintong's watch. It's massive. It's huge. It must cost a pretty penny, and I'm
I
sure
think
he's
he can
wearing it.
afford it, can't
I bet he can. But I'm sure he's not wearing it for free. I'm sure he's been paid to wear that. But it just looks, it's not something you notice normally.
he?
But
No.
it's huge. And I mentioned it just before we started recording that you would always see Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal, whoever, and we saw it with the ladies as well. They would always put on their lovely gold Rolex just before they're posing with the trophy, so you can see this moment of success with a nice Rolex. Oh, maybe it was the Rolex that caused him to become an incredible athlete and win Wimbledon. But now we're seeing it with snooker players. After Barry Hawkins won that match, he put his cue away. The first thing he did, put on a watch. And I thought, is Barry Hawkins like getting watch sponsorship deals now? Because that's promising if it is. Like if snooker players are getting deals like this, I know they wear the labels on their shirts and everything like that. And I'm sure they're paid, obviously they're paid for exhibitions. They can make supplementary cash for themselves. But I don't know, just wearing watches, like, it's great money if you can get it. I don't know how much they would earn from this, but it's not something I expected to see. But I noticed it a lot, and Zhao Zintong's watch was the catalyst for my
Yeah, I
noticing
noticed it
of it.
when I noticed when Zhao was wearing it, and I thought, doesn't that put him off his shots? Having a big watch on him. I know, um, can't be, it would distract me if I had a big watch on like that and I'm trying to play snooker. But I'm not as good as Zhao Tong, so it doesn't really affect me really. But yeah. I think if there is a sponsorship to it, then that's great for the game, really.
Yeah,
But
I think
I don't know the circumstances whether it's his personal watch or if it is sponsored. Then if that brings money to the game and brings a bit of promotion to the sport, then that's got to be a good thing.
yeah, and I think it's a good sign, just the fact that a player, Barry Hawkins would say, not a household name like Ronnie O'Sullivan or Steve Davis, but if he's getting sponsorship deals for watches, then I'm sure other players are getting offers at least, and that shows that people are taking notice of snooker. So, yeah, I think it is a good sign, and if he wants to earn a few extra quid for himself, good for him. He's earned it.
All I'll say, Dan, on that is watch this space. That's probably the best.
That, I don't think we're going to top that. I don't think we're going to top that.
Watch this space for any more deals on watches. That's what I'd say.
Oh my God. Yeah. I thought the joke I heard earlier was bad when I told you. Very family friendly, of course. But watch this space. Lovely.
Can we just go on to just talk about the controversy surrounding the Home Nations bonus
Yeah.
and the Welsh Open?
I like controversy. I like talking about it.
Interesting. There was interesting views about this, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, Dan, because for me it was quite weird that a trophy was being presented after a semi-final. It just seemed a bit odd to me. Obviously, it was a fantastic achievement for Lisowski, but to be lifting a trophy up after you've just won a semi-final and the finals the next game the next day, what did you think of that?
I thought it was weird. Like, there is a time and a place to do that. Okay, you've got the audience there, you've got the cameras on. I'm sure Bet Victor want as much exposure as they can get for the money they're putting into it. I get that. But I thought it was, I'm not going to say it was crass, because it wasn't crass, but I thought it was unnecessary. I didn't think it was appropriate for the moment. And the analogy or the comparison I made in my own mind was the Stanley Cup. I'm a big NHL fan. Ottawa Senators, go Sens. The team, so you've got the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference, they all play. The two winners meet and they fight for the Stanley Cup. Sometimes they literally fight for the Stanley Cup. But once you win the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, you are awarded a trophy. And none of the players, the tradition is they do not touch the trophy. They will acknowledge the fans, but the trophy's there. None of the players will lift that trophy. And I don't know if that's a mentality thing. Oh no, we're lifting a trophy. I don't know if it's that release of emotion, that inner aggression that you need. Maybe it's the same thing. By lifting a trophy, Jack thought, well, I've got 150 grand. I've just lifted a trophy. I've had a nice moment in front of the fans. I don't need to do anymore. I can't imagine it's completely true. But when you get the superstition that's so strong in hockey, we don't want to lift it because we don't want to think that the job is done.
It just seems weird to me, yeah. It just seems
weird.
Because, I mean, we haven't seen that before, so the circumstances kind of dictated that, really. It kind of brought the issue to light because of Lisowski had a chance of winning it. Maybe we hadn't. If Lisowski hadn't had a chance of winning it, we wouldn't be talking about it, obviously. But I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. And this is probably a further question, and maybe this is probably one outside this show, but why is the Bet Victor Home Nations bonus more than winning the Welsh Open? I don't understand that. It's supposed to be a bonus, so surely winning a ranking event is better than winning a bonus series. I don't understand that. So Lisowski has won more money this week than Barry Hawkins, and Barry Hawkins is the winner of the ranking event. And he's actually beaten Lisowski, funny enough.
Yeah, that's the irony.
I don't get that personally. I'm not saying that the bonus shouldn't be cheap. You know, he still should be value for money. Whoever wins it, well done to them. But I don't know. So Lisowski wins 150k for being top of this Home Nations bonus. How many players were really going to be forecast to win it before the start of the Welsh Open? I don't know. I don't know how many people are in the mix.
Well, there were a few. Zhou Yulong had a chance. Chang Bing-yu had to win it. Zhou Yulong had to win it. And they were guaranteed. But
surely if the winner picks up the Ray Reardon Trophy, that should have more value than winning the Home Nations bonus. I'll put it out there. People might disagree with me, but I think the Ray Reardon Trophy means a lot more than the Home Nations bonus, and therefore the prize money for the Welsh Open should be a lot higher than the Home Nations bonus, or just swap the figures around.
Yeah, if they've got the money to spend on this, why not stick an extra 20 grand on each of the events, even if it's not all for the winner? If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, and if I am, please anyone correct me if I am. But had Jack Lisowski not won, or had he not made the final, should I say, Mark Allen would have won the bonus. But the bonus that Mark Allen would get, 150 grand, is more than Mark Allen would have won for all of the Home Nations events combined. It was 142 grand or something like that. But then, just for winning 142 grand, your bonus for winning 142 grand is another 150. But how can the bonus be bigger than he's won from all of the events combined all season? It seems excessive. Now, don't get me wrong. If Bet Victor want to put the money into that, it's their choice. The players aren't going to complain one bit.
No, not so.
Well, some of the players won't complain. The players who win it are definitely not going to complain. But I can see why, yeah. And you said earlier to me that maybe it overshadows the event a bit.
Yeah, that's what I feared. I felt it overshadowed. And there was obviously this big thing about Lisowski playing for it, and he was under this pressure to win. And it I don't know, it just sat uncomfortable with me. If it was the fact that he was holding a trophy up at night, after beating John Higgins, but it was a semi-final. He could have because he got to the final, they could have given him the trophy after the final and said, by the way, congratulations, Jack, you've won the 150,000 bonus. If there's a high break bonus, you see it in China, that's held, they celebrate that after the tournament's finished, and you've got these massive checks for, £5,000 for the high bonus. They love it in China. They'll probably, the massive checks that come around. It's brilliant to watch. But, sorry to go on, but no.
No, it's worth talking about. However, I think there is a positive in this. There is a positive to be taken from it. When Jack was asked in an interview, so is your mind on the Bet Victor bonus of £150,000? He gave that cheeky little smile and said, no. Clearly meaning yes. He made it very clear that he was thinking about it. But why wouldn't he be? It's on offer.
Also, what did he say after after losing to Barry Hawkins in the final? He said he had a hangover, and he made a joke. It wasn't a drinking hangover. He meant the hangover of the euphoria of winning 150k after the semi-final. That did affect his mindset in the final.
I did think that moment was a nice moment of honesty from Jack, though. He's like, well, of course he's thinking about it. A lot of players would have given the cookie cutter, well, no, I just want to win the trophy and play my best, and hopefully I'll do myself justice. He knew he had to give that answer, but he knew that people are just going to see right through the lie. Of course he's thinking about it. Anyone would. But he was cheeky enough, and he had the perfect delivery. Like, he's so likable. But I thought that was a really nice moment. It was just, nope. And he gave the cheeky little eye movement. It's, I thought if people aren't going to like Jack after that, then there's no hope for them. It's, but yeah, I see what you mean. It's a historic event. And yeah, it did kind of overshadow. I get, sometimes you do want narratives running through tournaments. And you get it, especially in the later stages of the season. Tour survival becomes a narrative that goes through several events, crucible qualification, things like that. That's not always a bad thing.
I mean, obviously,
I don't think this one quite fits in the same.
I think obviously we're talking about it because of the way the circumstances fell out. It might never happen. It might never happen again like that. You know what I mean? Where someone's in the semi-final when they're playing for 100. It might never happen again. It was just a weird one how it all came to light. And I've said my piece on it anyway.
No, I can't say I disagree completely there. Actually, it could have been done slightly better, but maybe they'll learn from it. Maybe they'll learn. We've only got a few tournaments left this season, actually. So let's have a look at the list. We've got the Welsh Open's done. We've got the World Open. That's in Yushan, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got the Tour Championship and the World Championship. The Tour Championship field is not completely set. There are some players who can still make it. And obviously, if you win the World Open, I think you win 170,000. So I think most players could make it. In fact, I think they've got a list here. Even Stan Moody could win, but he would need a remarkable series of events to go his way. But Zhao Guodong, Jack Lisowski himself, Elliot Slesser, Zhou Yulong, Zhang Anda, they're all chasing and they're not too far behind, especially Zhao Guodong. And of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan has qualified because he did well in one tournament. And 251,000 points he's on, and 200 of those came in one event. It's a joke, really. But there's no guarantee that he's
the cut off for that after the World Open. Then is that right? Is that when the cut off is?
I think yes, according to this website, until the conclusion of the 2026 World Open. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
strong lineup. Strong lineup for the top 12 in there.
Is Ronnie going to be there, though? I'm going to say he's probably going to bail on this one as well, which would probably put
Ronnie O'Sullivan's got a busy few weeks ahead, hasn't he? Because I'm sure he won't miss the World Championship, but you never know with Ronnie. And then he's got himself lined up for the World Seniors. So Ronnie O'Sullivan's going to be a busy man in April and May, isn't he? I think what's great about the we've had it in the Players' Championship and the Tours Championship, and a lot of people have commented on Snooker Chat about it, is the new coverage of Channel 5. in the UK. They've shown the Players' Championship as part of this new deal. They've got the rights for it. They'll then come and show the Tour Championship. It's had a very good response. They showed a lot of commitment to snooker, actually. They show the afternoon session on the main channel, and then they go into it in the evening session as well. And then, you get the cut off about 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But they're showing good coverage of snooker. They're not like saying, "Oh, watch it on our app." They're giving it prime time, and I've been very impressed with the coverage. I think John Higgins was really good on commentary. It was the first time we heard him. The presenter, Kate Shanahan, and Hendry and Matthew Stevens, Alan McManus. It just felt like a really new era for the sport, and it was really good. And hopefully they'll continue to do a good job. And let's see how it plays out. But first impressions, very good on Channel 5. The only real thing, really, that's maybe been a little bit controversial is the ref cam.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the ref cam really does in snooker. Channel 5 obviously experimented with it. It just looks a bit weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
I think in football you can see it because it's a fast game, and you get that insight in terms of what the referee's seeing. Obviously, referees are a lot more of a prominent figure in football. Has to make a lot more decisions. I don't know. It just seemed like you were just seeing the camera moving up and down a little bit to see where the ball is, and keep it. I think Channel 5 might keep it, but it got a bit mixed reviews. Put it that way.
Yeah, I wasn't a big. I just don't see the point of it. Really, it's just I try something new. Absolutely fine, but if it doesn't work, just ditch it. I don't think it's got great feedback. Really, it's just like, well, what does it do? It's yeah. But speaking of refs, actually, in that final, during that safety battle we were speaking about, I thought Ben Williams kind of let them get on with it, and I thought it was good. Right, they're two mature players. They're experienced. If they look at each other and it's like, "Do you want to re-rack this?" I know a few people disagreed with his opinion. I'm going to say wrongly, actually, to not allow Freyers to re-rack fairly recently. But I thought he let them get on with it. It's a big final. It's their moment. Just, eventually, if it keeps going on, all right, you got to step in at some point. But he gave them a bit of leeway. I thought he handled it well by not getting involved.
It was. I think it was quite a funny moment, really, wasn't it? It was quite a funny exchange, and I think you have to bear in mind what the players are playing for as well. It's a crucial time in the final. I don't know if Hawkins played that shot because there was some kind of time restriction that was put on. I don't think there was any announcement. We didn't really see it, but I think Hawkins, in his post-match interview with TNT Sport, was kind of suggesting that there was going to be some kind of time or shot restriction to it. So maybe that's why Hawkins played out. Ben Williams is fine referee. I've interviewed him at an exhibition in Derby. Great referee. I also liked how he really did give a stern warning when someone's mobile phone went off.
Yeah.
He really didn't like it. He was. If your mobile phone goes off, you don't want to have Ben Williams as your referee. He'll give you a stern telling off.
It's so unacceptable. Like, in the arena, you're told, please turn your phone to silent, or turn it off, preferably. Just please do it. Just take 5 seconds. Just silent, click. And the amount of people who just fail to do this, it's ignorance of the highest order. I just cannot understand why you can't do it. It's not even selfishness. It's just oblivious to the rules of society. I just cannot get my head around it. And I'm a firm believer that your phone goes off, out. We can't take the risk of it happening again. Players hate it. Other fans hate it. It just annoys everyone because 1 or 2, 3 people are just selfish. Maybe it is selfishness. I don't like it at all.
I think you'll get a lot of agreement in that, Dan. I think you'll get a lot of agreement in that one.
Yeah, zero tolerance on that one, I think. So, final point before we wrap up here. There has been a little bit of news, and I got I got a couple of messages about this, about the new seating at the Crucible.
Oh
Very
yes.
expensive. I'm gonna just actually, what's your opinion on it? The walk on, the walk
It's
on
just the
thing.
doesn't really. I don't think it's a change, but I don't think it actually changes the dynamic of the Crucible a little bit. I don't think it's. I don't think you'll see them audiences on the camera, would you? Or only
No,
when plays going on. Yeah, I don't think you'd see it.
I don't think you would. No.
If it brings more people into the Crucible, that's a good thing. If it
Yeah.
extends capacity, I don't know. Is it going to extend the capacity? Is it, or are they taking
Well,
seats away to cover them?
no, it's going to be slight. They've just like squeezed in these extra seats, so it probably will push the capacity over 1,000.
Interesting timing, isn't it, with everything that's going on
Yeah.
about or the uncertainty with the Crucible? But very interesting that they're looking to do that. They've never done it before, have they?
No.
But yeah, if it brings more seats in, brings more money towards snooker, then all be it. And it doesn't seem like a major change that's going to be
No.
like, oh my god, this is horrendous or anything like that. It's just putting a few more seats on, and if a young kid's going to be sitting there and he's going to be inspired to watch snooker for the rest of his life, then it'll be good. I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's no harm. I would say they're going to be very expensive tickets, like not quite Century Club price, but given the view you will get, and Dave Henton mentioned this, why would they do this if they were going to move? Why would they start introducing it like 1 year or
This is it,
2 or 3
yeah.
months before?
I've not seen the full detail, but hasn't the Prime Minister been visiting? Keir Starmer's been visiting the Crucible, hasn't he? So there
Yep.
seems to be a bit of I don't know, a bit of
Positive
leverage, put it this way, in
murmurings.
terms of staying at the Crucible. We've got the new seats. We've got Keir Starmer coming up. We were expecting an update to be provided by World Snooker in December. It never came.
Nope.
Obviously, the news last year came with the BBC deal.
Yep.
So, I've got to be careful what I say here because it will blow in my face if it doesn't happen. But all the signs suggest that there could be some good news about the Crucible. But, let's put that on the whisper, shall we? Let's not go too far.
Yeah.
But we get lots of comments on Snooker Chat. Oh, it's going to go. It's going to go. But very quietly, touching wood, that there might be a good, a positive development to come if you want the World Championship to stay at the Crucible.
Which I think most people would prefer it, and I'm just going to see if I
Don't
can
quote me on
find.
that. And when there's an announcement saying it moves, then Nigel Slater from Snooker Chat said this on the Snooker Hall podcast. But let's just keep it on the whisper, shall we?
I'm just going to have a look through. I'm just
If
trying
it
to
was
see if
going
I
to go,
can.
it would be. I don't think it would go outside the UK. It would be a different venue in the United Kingdom. Because let's be honest, if it was going to go abroad, it'd go China.
Yeah, Beijing or Shanghai.
That's the only country where it could go, really, that would work. I mean, unless the Saudi Arabia would throw millions at it. But they already do. And they've got their own tournament, haven't they? The Gold Ball. But they want to do things their own way, the Saudis. I don't think they'd want the World Championship. And, there's always been questions more about the attendance in them tournaments. But yeah, on the quiet, if the Prime Minister's getting involved in discussions, I would say that's a big thing.
Yeah, and this question of attendance is a big one, and we're always told, "Oh, we need more seats. We need more seats." And fine, they've put in a few extra seats. I don't think it's going to be that many seats, and they're going to be expensive, by the way. So, and I would say that the view you get from those seats is going to be not the best. So you're paying a lot of money for these seats, and if you want to pay that, go for it, free world. But
How much are the tickets, Dan?
I was just having a look there. I can't find the email I got, but they're going to be well into the hundreds. And for the final, for each of it's several hundred per person per session for the final. But you get a glass of champagne, so it's okay. And and your commentary radio is covered, so that's £12 in value. But they're going to be expensive, and there aren't. I don't know. The
Yeah,
view from there is not going to be great. That's the point of the Crucible. It's like that amphitheater, and it's every seat has a good view, and it literally does. But I'm not sure about
yeah.
these.
A
But if
lot of
they're
it
willing
is.
to make this change to get a few extra quid in, get a few more people in,
Yeah.
then
How
they
many
must be
more?
positive.
I should know this, but how many more seats is it, Dan?
I can't remember, to be honest. Someone, yeah, it came up, but no, I'm not sure.
I
It's
know. I know. We posted about it, and to be honest, I didn't think people were too bothered about it. Really, don't think. We didn't get really much feedback on it, really, and much interaction. It was just the picture selling it to us, really. But yeah, I think a lot of it is not the view you get, but it's being there. Um, I remember different sport 20 years ago. Um, there was late tickets to go to the Ashes Test match at Edgbaston, England, Australia. 2005 Ashes series, one of the best Ashes series to go, and we got like day 4 tickets. So day 4, you're not going to get tickets for day 5, day 4, but it said on the website restricted view, and there was a lot of the tickets were sold out. Restricted view, and me and my dad said it's a chance to watch Ashes cricket live. It might be restricted, but you're there. You get to see the atmosphere, and because it was restricted view, we considered it, but thought, yeah, go on, it's a day out. Watching the Ashes, one of the best cricket series that you could watch. And yeah, we got there, and part of the pitch, or whatever, the field, you should say, in cricket was restricted. You didn't have the best of views. But what you saw was live Ashes cricket. And funny enough, on that day was the second test, final day, fourth day of the Ashes test, and Harmison gets out. Australia need 2 to win, and for 3 to win, and Harmison gets out Michael Kasprowicz in one of the greatest Test matches, I should say, maybe cricket has ever seen, especially in Ashes cricket. And you've got Vaughan hugging and Garrett Jones's catch. Restricted view, but being there, I'll never ever forget.
And yeah, that's the point. And you can't beat atmosphere. And going to live snooker, okay, it's not the most energetic, it's not the loudest place, but sometimes there's just that little buzz in the arena, and that is unmatchable. And
But
as I say, in the Crucible, it's
that's
unrivaled.
why
It's
people
excellent.
don't want to see the Crucible gone, because it
Yeah.
creates a unique atmosphere unlike any other. But yeah, that's going into the wider discussion. But yeah, sometimes just being there is worth a ticket. And, I'm not sure exactly what view they'll get, but if they see a wonderful match, then you'll go home and never forgetting that.
Yeah. And so Rob Walker, I know people sometimes criticise Rob Walker and say he's corny, he's cheesy. And yeah, I'm not a fan of the touching and the hugging. I don't think that's appropriate. I think it's a bit, yeah. But anyway, but in terms of his MC work, I think he's quite good. He
Ambassador for
throws
Snooker,
himself
Rob Walker.
he throws himself into the what would you call them, announcements, these build ups, what do you call
Yeah,
them, introductions,
yeah,
and he but again, I'm quoting Dave Hendon a lot. Dave Hendon said he makes an effort every single time, even if it's some random Wednesday morning session or a Tuesday morning session, and you've got 2 random players who aren't household names. There's someone in that crowd. It's their first time at the Crucible, and it might be their only visit, and they've got 1 ticket for 1 session because they're hard to get these days.
yeah.
And he'll make an effort for that. And if Rob Walker isn't prepared to make an effort, then who is? It's
Yeah,
then no one's going to try. But then
yeah,
it just gets the
wonderful.
atmosphere going, and I think it is a good thing, and it's a good point that Dave Hendon made there. It's a special moment to be in the Crucible to watch snooker. It's a
Yeah,
privilege.
yeah,
We might not have it forever. Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will have it for a long time. But we might not. And I think people are more prepared. Oh, do you know, maybe I should go. What if it does leave?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, not everything lasts forever, does it? But I think, every snooker fan would say, well, it can't stay at the Crucible in, 2075? You know what I mean? But we just want to see it for long. Who knows what's happening in the future, really. But just going on Rob Walker, I love him. I know he gets the comments on social media that may be a bit negative, but I think he's brilliant for the game. You need someone like him for snooker, someone who brings enthusiasm. And I get what you mean. Sometimes it's a bit cringy in the post-match interviews, but
I think he knows it, and he plays
you
into
know,
it.
he's brilliant for the game. He really is. And when was it? A few years ago when we had the orange powder gate at the Crucible.
Of course, yeah.
Horrific scenes. And who was the first person to try and get snooker back on that night? It was Rob Walker. You could see him with a hoover trying to clean the table.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful images of that horrific night that really did. It was a horrible night, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was
shocking night for snooker and awful. But the fact that Rob Walker tried to get that table back to standard, and it didn't work out at the end.
No,
but he
didn't think it was beneath him. It's like, no, if I can do my bit, then maybe it will work. Yeah, he didn't think he was too good or too important to do it. Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. Met him a couple of times, and there was one occasion I do remember. The Kai Takumi in Hong Kong, nearly a year ago now, and he was swamped by fans who just wanted a picture with him. Oh, he was so patient, and there was a little technical glitch before the evening session kicked off, and he managed to keep people engaged. There was about 15 minutes, and he was just talking. He's not a shy man, but he was able to do it without awkward silences. Okay, he gave away some toys to kids. He got a few kids to play a few shots. He engaged people, but he was able to do it on the fly, just get it done. And he was a pro. And I agree, he's good for the game. But
just to mention, good for the game, and what has been really sad over the past few weeks is the passing of John Virgo.
Yes, that was
obviously. I think Rob Walker would be devastated himself. I'm sure them two are very close. But yeah, there's a phrase that's to me always it comes across as a bit sensationalised when something bad happens and they say, "Oh, it shook the sport." I think it's a bit over the top at times, but I think it is true to say that John Virgo's passing has shook snooker because of the impact it will have in the future. I mean, people associate snooker and John Virgo together. It all goes well, his sayings and the commentary, and it's truly sad and completely unexpected that we're to lose him. And I think Stephen Hendry has said that the World Championship coverage on the BBC is not going to be the same. Yeah, we as part of our tribute, we did we retweeted something that we did last year, really, and it was when the World Championship was on. First day, the BBC, the first morning, got the world champion on. So it's, a lot of people are excited, especially deep down snooker fans will watch that first session. And then Hazel Irvine, comes in and say, your commentators are John Virgo and Lei Pei Fan makes the break. He hits the blue and the blue goes in. And 10 seconds into the match, 10 seconds as the start of the World Championship, Virgo comes up with one of his sayings, whatever you do, don't hit the blue.
Yeah.
And that was 10 seconds. I timed it, absolute 10 seconds into the start of the World Championship. It took him 10 seconds to deliver his famous line, one of his famous lines.
Whatever you do, don't hit the blue.
Yeah, and someone else could say, someone could take it up and say, where's the cue ball going? But it will never be the same.
No, what you mentioned something there, the fact that it was kind of unexpected. If thankfully, depends on your point of view. Had he been sick for 6 months, a year, and he finally passes, maybe it wouldn't be such a shock, but the fact that a couple of weeks before he was commentating at the Masters, and I said something. I don't think this is inaccurate. Maybe it's debatable, but I don't think I'm wrong to say this. But if we look at the Mount Rushmore of fame, in terms of fame, not impact or success, but in terms of fame, I think he'd probably be on there. John Virgo, Steve Davis would be there. Ronnie O'Sullivan, I think, would be there. Maybe Alex Higgins, possibly. I think
Yeah,
John Virgo would be in
definitely.
line for a shout because he was known, even by
Yeah,
non-snooker fans. It's
I
like, oh, he's
mean,
that guy who does the snooker. He was more
yeah,
known than, say, Barry Hawkins, for example.
yeah, he was brilliant for the snooker. He was a good player. That's not
Yeah,
he was a
shout he was
decent
it, yeah.
player. If he
Yeah.
just if he was just a player, you'd say he was decent. He won the UK Championship. And then I think towards the end of his playing career, he got into the commentary side and the entertaining side. You see lots of videos of the impressions he did, delighting those, and fully agree. He would certainly be. He'd be on that pedestal. A big loss to snooker.
Yeah.
And it won't be the same. It won't be the same.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to wrap it up with, because he gave us a lot of good memories over the years. He'll be missed, but yeah, I think he would want the show to go on, I think. So, that's a good place to wrap it up. I think we've covered some good talking points today, Nigel.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Nigel. Really appreciate it. You're always welcome back on the Snooker Hall podcast. Just as a reminder, where can snooker fans find Snooker Chat?
Snooker Chat is on X, Snooker Chat. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, X is our main platform. We also have a website, which is in the ongoing work. But if you find us on X at Snooker Chat, please get involved and interact with us. We post about 3 times a day, and it's going so well. It's going so well.
And long may it continue. Thanks for your time, Nigel, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.